Yeah, so I was going to touch on that. So they sent you to basically a youth offenders equivalent sort of thing as far as a military.
When I got the shotgun, well, it was a laugh really. I laugh at it myself. They had this big idea. They went, there's a post office van full of money. Yeah, I'll have that. So we held it up, and it had already laid the money out. There was nothing in it. But one of the guys nicked a pouch, an empty pouch. So now it's armed robbery because you took something. You're not just sticking a van up. So they send me to a senior detention centre for 6 months for possession of a firearm and discharging it in a public place. And I went there and I see the brutality that was going on there. It took terrible, it'd be child abuse and they was beating the kids up to screws and all that sort of thing. And I thought, you wouldn't do that if we was outside and bash it a piece of a baseball bat. You know, I'm looking at them.
And how old were you when you were?
16.
16, right.
And I'm angry now. I'm seeing what's going on, the abuse they do to us. And there was a guy who come from Brixton, funny enough. And they were racist in there, so they picked on everyone. And Everton, he said to me, Bobby, I went, well, because we used to do boxing, different clubs, you know, and I knew him. And he was a good boxer at times. And he said to me, you watch my back, I'll watch yours, because they had these things they call daddies in there. So I went, yeah, all right, we'd do it. And so we bashed up a few of them in there. So then we run it, and it was all right. And I come out of there, but I was fit by then. I'd been in the gym because they used to make you run around football pitches with medicine ball and boots and all that going. So I come out really fit. And my dad was waiting, bless his heart, and he went, right, you've done your time now. He went, no more of that gun game. I went, no. He went, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to put it back on him. He went, what? I said, I'm going to do business, Dad. He went, no more guns and all that. I went, no. So I got out now, I know how it's worked, because I'm worked with the older ones.
Right.
So I didn't need them. And I've put my own firm together, all my pals and that.
Right.
That's what I said to them. I said, you know, they went, what about the older ones? I said, look, we're not playing. If they come on us, I said, we shoot them.
So, like, just to backtrack quickly as well. So, initially, when you're working for the sort of older lot,
yeah,
did they like sort of like groom you in a sense, like?
They groom you into violence. Like a paedophile grooms a child into sex. They groomed us into bad violence, and they get like they say, oh, we're going back now in like the 60s, and like 500 quid was a lot of dough. The average man was earning 12 quid a week. And
definitely, yeah.
And they went, Bobby, if you go and collect this money, guy owes us 500 quid, owes us a monkey 500 quid. If you get it, we give you 10%. Well, 50 quid was a lot of dough, you know. And I went, yeah, I'll do it. And done that for a little while. And I thought, hold up a minute, you're driving nice cars. I'm taking a risk, right? I don't need you. I know how it works now. So what happened then, I got the guys together. We'd already seen off other gangs in the area. So we was getting known as, you know, don't mess with them, you know. Don't step on their toes. So my dad, he didn't know. He gave me an idea. I'm sitting there and he went, do you know old George has got the cafe up the road? I said, yeah. He said, the little kids, they're naughty kids. He said, throwing bricks through his window, they've done it. He said, his insurance is going to go up. I went, is that right? Now I'm about coming up to 17, 18. And being a schemer, I've always loved money, and I'm a schemer, I know how to earn money. I went, how many times did the bricks go through his window before his insurance goes up? He said, well, it goes up 3 times, the insurance goes through the roof. So I got hold of these kids and I said to them, look, I'll give you a couple of quid each. And they was opening up Chinese restaurants and Indian restaurants at the time. It was the new fad coming in. So I give the kids, I said, go and break them shop windows. I said, do it twice. I said, and then you don't do it no more. So we give them a £5 to go and bash all the shop windows out. So then I've gone into the people, and people knew there was a firm now running things. And I went in there, I said, look, this is terrible, what's happening here? I'm always reasonable with them. I went, you know, it's terrible. I said, you know, your insurance is going to go through the roof. They went, yeah. I went, I can make sure that don't happen. And if you get a problem, you can phone us up, you know, phone the cafe up and we'll come round and sort it for you. He went, where are we going to do it? I said, well, we come in, we eat for nothing. I said, and when you're selling, you know, you're taking the money, put a little bit extra on the bill for us and we'll take the money and we look after you. And it worked a treat.
Pretty clever, yeah.
It worked a treat. We had them in the end. We didn't have to put bricks through their windows. People was coming up and going, like, I'm like, oh, yeah, we look after you, don't worry. And we're doing it with like dress shops and all that.
Yeah.
And then my tailor, my dad's tailor, he said, you know, old Murray? I said, yeah. He said, they used to get things like suits on the Never Never. In other words, you pay a deposit and then you pay it off each week. Well, once they got the suits, they was on their toes. They weren't going to pay him. So he had a load of debts. So I said, look, Murray, I said, what we do? I said, you make me a suit every 6 months. I said, and give me the list of the people. I said, I don't want money off you. I said, just make me a suit. I said, and what I'll collect, I'll take 25% of what I'll take. So if I don't collect, you don't pay me. He went, yeah, all right. So, well, I think they're thieving off him anyway, so I'm only going into them. They took a liberty. So we go around, bash them up and get the money, give him his money, got our money. He told his pal he was doing the same thing in the shoe shop. So in the end, we had this money coming in, and it weren't bad. Yeah. And people, you know, we called it insurance, people called it extortion, but it was, you know, it was coming to us, right? Yeah. So I'm sitting there and the money's coming in. I thought, I don't have to do anything. You know, these people, and they was pleased to see us, you know, hello, Bob. Yeah. You know, in them days, I didn't drink. I used to just drink bitter lemon. My pals drank, but I didn't. To me, everything was business. And then the armed robbery thing come in.
Yeah, and so I said, if I can just touch on something in particular, right? So how did you go about formulating your own firm? Because as we know it, they're called the Chaps, I believe.
Yeah, that's right.
So how did you go about formulating your own firm?
The thing was, there was people there that were lively, but they weren't organised. And I'm good at organising things, structuring things. You know, I look at everything to me, it's got to be a plan. You know, you just don't go wild, you're going to get arrested. And it was business. So what I did, I picked people like, I knew a kid who was a really good driver. So I thought, right, he's good, he can be a getaway driver. And if we do a shooting, you know, we take an old car, because if we shoot someone, we don't want to crush up a new car. So we used to take the old car out for the shootings and then crush it up afterwards. But got the driver, then other people started coming to us, you know, they was all out of work. And I went, you come and work with us. They went, well, what are you doing? I said, everything. We're just earning money, you know. And they'd never seen money like it, you know. And they said, well, we can do banks, jewellery shops, you name it. I said, once we got that gun, and I've got guns for all of them, I said, once we got them, we can go to war wherever we want. We can take the lot. And they liked it. And once they got the first taste of the big money, they didn't want to give it up. But I always told them the truth. I said, law of averages, right? We're going to get nicked. You can't go on forever. So when you get your money, put it away, you know, use your money. Don't blow it up the wall buying flashcards, because that's going to get you nicked. Low profile. Everything's got to be low profile. If you want to spend big money, go on holiday, go to Holland, go to Spain or wherever, right. Spend your dough over there, but not on the manor, because the name was getting too big, and I was trying to push it down. I didn't want it. And
it's interesting that you say the law of averages, because I feel like this is where experience would play like a major role. Yeah. Because you're someone that's already been in trouble. Yeah. And I'm assuming you would have served some time before this as well. Yeah. So like you know how the game sort of works, and you're trying to.
The thing is, everything I've learned off of other people. And the best learning I had was when they made mistakes, because then I ain't going to make their mistakes. I see where they went wrong, and I thought, well, don't do that, because that's going to put me in jail.
That makes a lot of sense.
I'm looking at other people, how they operate, and honing it in. So we had it off to a fine art. And, you know, it was funny, because look, a friend of mine was going to buy his girlfriend an engagement ring. And I had the guns in the back of the motor. And I said to him, well, he went, I want to buy my girlfriend. He said, I've seen an engagement ring in that jewellery shop. He said, I'm going to go and buy it. And it was a few £100 in them days, was quite a lot of money. I went, what do we do for a living? He said, well, we armed robbers. I said, so what are you talking about giving them money? We go in and we take the shop. And we robbed the shop, and they liked it. And afterwards I said, we don't need money. If we want something, we go and get it. And I got a bit overconfident, and I got done for Bartley's Banksmith's Cottage, and I got not guilty on that. So now sweet. I think I'm untouchable. You know, you get caught up with it, you're doing it that many times, you become anaesthetised to the violence, you know, it's just...
Desensitised
almost, you bring the shutters down, you know, and you think, well, hold up, this guy, he's coming on the manor, he's going to try and shoot me, so I'm going to shoot him first. And then once you've done one, half a dozen ain't too many. So that started getting a bit, it got ridiculous, because if someone got cut or shot, straight away, the chap's done it. Bobby's firm's done that. Yeah. If someone had a car crash, we had arranged it.
That's your reputation working against you.
And then you know, if they caught a cold, it would be one of our lot. Give it to them. You know, it really got ridiculous. I mean, if you believe half the stuff that was said about me, I wiped out half of North London. You know, it was crazy stuff. Yeah. But people believed it, and it was people on the fringe who didn't know what we was doing, because the only ones who knew what we was doing was the ones who worked with me. All the rest whispering it, like the old Chinese whisper, and it got blown out of proportion. You know, you've shot one person, by the time it's finished, he's gone around, you've shot 10. You know, and it was really stupid. And I didn't want it, because it was bringing it on me.
Attention, yeah.
You know, and the coppers used to walk in the bar, and I had pine stripping business at the time, so I had a front the pine stripping business, you know. So if they see me with money, it's legal. I'm dipping doors and in acid, and I'm making money. But we was robbing as well and doing other things like shooting people for money. And they said, you know, hello, Mr. Cams. I was always polite, man. I'm not a rude person, you know. I was brought up properly. I have good manners. And I used to go, hello. And they go, we'll get you. We're going to put you away for 30 years. I go, what are you talking about? I'm a straight guy. I run a pint. And they went, yeah, we know what you do, William. We're going to get you, right? So I took that. I think that was the thing that come on me, was when I got off with the bank robbery. They targeted me then.
Yeah, it was onto you after that.
Yeah,
sort of thing,
they really had the ump, you know, because they thought they was going to put me away on it, and I got not guilty. And then after that, it went on. It was done armed robbery, and someone, you know, should never have happened, because all my work was clean. I could do it in 3 minutes. We had it off to a fine art. We all knew, like, the driver knew what he had to do. The guy jumping over the counter to get the dough knew what he had to do. So it was well rehearsed. We would walk in the bank, we'd have a look at it, we'd know where the bills are, and we'd go like 3 minutes. Within 3 minutes, we was gone. The old bill would be there, armed old bill. So I'm not going to shoot a cop. You've got to be a lunatic. Anyone who shoots media, straight goers, and the old bill, they're the three you couldn't shoot, right? Because the screen would be up. Everyone who was doing it, like kiters, shoplifters, the old bill would come in, and it would close everyone's business down. So it weren't in our interest to hurt people that didn't need to be hurt, because it would mess up everyone's business, and we wouldn't be very popular if we ruined everyone else's business, like people selling a bit of puff or, you know, a bit of dope. And we weren't doing that business. They could earn their money. It was not our game. We specialised in what we did. They specialised in what we did. We had respect for each other. Like if they were shoplifters, they'd bring suits in or overcoats in or whatever, and we'd buy it off of them, you know, third of the price, you know, jewellery, third of the price, and then we put it over South London and they'd buy it off of us, and we moved it about. We was doing good business, and we was feeding our people. You know, our people was earning a good living. And my mum, bless her heart, because my mum and dad never knew what we was doing. And I think my dad had half an inkling, but he never talked about it. We never talked about it in my house. Never had guns in my mother's house, no weapons there. The guy who grassed us, he was the gun dealer. He shopped everyone. He turned suit glass. And that's how they got us in the end. And people go, oh, you know, you got done by Supergrass. I go, no. We got done because we made mistakes. We should never let him know what we was doing. You know, we talked in front of him thinking he was all right. So in the end, anyone who says, I got done by a grass, no, you grass yourself, because that guy shouldn't have that information. So I don't blame no one. You know, I blame me.
It's really bold of
because
you to say, respect it.
Yeah, because they shouldn't have known. And so if you like, we put ourselves in prison, because we had a guy there we thought we could trust him. We should have done our homework a bit better. He was supplying guns. We should never have let him know what we was doing. We were just buying guns off him. So all he could say, we bought guns. But where he got to know him, he used to come in the pub, have a drink, and he'd go, I had the right touch. And they'd talk to him because we thought he was one of our own, and he weren't. He rolled over, rat. And that's what I said to him. I said, you know, anyone I've allegedly shot, right? Well, I say allegedly because it's all hearsay what I've done. But they would have been rats anyway. So I weren't shooting people. I was shooting vermin, and that's the way I looked at it. You know, they were rats. So I didn't have no feelings about it. I'm not a psychopath, but I thought to myself, look, you're coming to cut me or shoot me. I ain't going to mess about you. I'm going to shoot you. And that's how it went down. So it was really, we weren't bad guys. We were survivors. And it's like when I went to Parkhurst, you know, in the maximum security prisons. I mean, we'd done a wrap up. Someone choked on their own vomit. Should never have happened. Never have happened. I mean, they weren't killed, not shot or anything like that. Choked on a gag. And that was the manslaughter. Done me for murder because it was in the actions of a robbery. But should never have happened. But they give me a 7.5 for that. And I come out. I've done 5 out of 7.5 because you had to do 2/3 in them days. Come out of there, but now I've met villains in there, and like I met the Crays. They was up for trial for murder. I was up the Old Bailey for having a sawn off at the age of 16. I was the youngest person to get done with a sawn off. And Ronnie Cray come out. They all coming out to go up the steps to face their murder trial. And he went, "What are you doing here?" I went, "I'm robbery." I said, "Yeah, I'm with a sawn off." He went, "You cheeky sod." He went, "No doubt we'll be seeing a lot of you." Now, I didn't know who they was. I went, "No doubt you will," because I was a bit leery. I went, "No doubt you will." And the these
and you were 16 during
I was 16, and the guard went to me, he went, you know who that is? I went, no. And you hear the name Craze, but I didn't know who they were. I've never met them. He went, that's Reggie and Ronnie Craze. Said they're up for murders and all that.
Oh, that's when they done the shooting and the
stabbing. Yeah, when they done Cornell and all that, and then they done Jack the Hat.
Yeah.
And then the rumour had it, they done Frankie Mitchell, the axeman, popped him in the back of the head.
Right.
But their own firm done that. But we were just kids and they was going away. And the little firm that was running our manor, they went away, so we run the manor after that. And it just escalated. And it's an evolving thing. People say, you know, it's hard to explain. When you shoot someone, the first time you do it, it's quite, not a buzz, but you think, I've done it. I've actually shot someone. And then I got wiser. I thought, well, I don't want to kill anyone. So what I did, I used to have the buckshot, I used to have a rock salt in one barrel, because it's beautiful. It don't leave no forensic. You shoot them in the leg with that, the heat of the blood melts the salt, so there's no bullet or nothing left behind. So that's what I worked out myself. I was the first one to work that out, because I heard about rock salt. I thought, yeah, shoot them with that, we'll try it. So we went out, and there was 2 Turkish guys.
Yeah, so this instance, is it involving, there was an incident with
it was the fish and chip shop. They were decent people. There I working, he's there from 11 o'clock in the daytime, working till 11 o'clock at night. You could see the guy, nice little Turkish family, you know, and they was working hard, the mum, and they covered in grease, you know, and my mum and dad used to go and get their fish and chips that we all did. And I respect straight goers, you know, if you're working, good luck to you, you know, but we chose to rob. But we didn't rob people like them. And Tony Gray come in, he went, Bobby, he said, you know, have you heard what's happened with the fish and chip shop? I went, no, you know, I'm sitting there having me bit of lemon. He went, well, he said, the Turkish guys who was running the car gaff down the road, it was under the arches in them days, you know, they used to repair motors. I said, yeah. He said, well, they're selling heroin. Now, I didn't like heroin, I don't like powder. You know, with the weed, it was all right, as I used to have a Rastafarian friend, and he used to say to me, it's God's plant. I could live with that, you know, because they were taking the LSD and all that. That didn't worry me. But with the powder, no, I didn't like powder. Because it destroys the person and it destroys families. They steal off their own family.
It's life-changing, yeah.
They lose their morals, right? And I'm funny about morals. So I'm quite really a moral man, you know. And because I'm a Catholic as well, you know, so I was brought up fire and brimstone stuff.
Right.
And I thought, no, that ain't happening. He said, what they've done, they got her on the gear. He said, and they're trying to get her on the game. I went, what? Now I knew this girl, I knew the family, and they're nice people. He said, they want you to, they've heard about you, and they know what you do, Bob, and they want you to torture to make it go away. Now I've already got the hump. Well, I don't like people exploiting, I don't like bullies, I don't like people who get a girl on heroin and then try and get her on the streets from a nice family. So I said, well, he said, they want to see you. So I got up to him, and I was in tears.
And these are Turks?
Yeah, and they were Turkish as well. And they went, Bobby, you know, we're working people, we're good people. This is a nightmare. We want this to go away. I'm looking at him, and he got a biscuit tin out, and he had all rolled up notes. They're savings, you know, what they burnt. And he went, we give you this. And I'm looking at him, I don't want to take money off of him. You know, he's working. If I want to take money, I'll take it off a bank or something, you know. They can have it. They took my dad's business away. I had no problems about robbing them.
Yeah, someone that deserves it, sort of
thing. Don't rob off your own. You don't rob off of ordinary people. And I go up, I see him, and he went, you know, take it. And I went, nah. I went, I don't want your money. I said, I'll make it go away. I said, but what are you going to do? I said, you're going to give my mum and dad free fish and chips when they come in. And then the boys come in, free fish and chips. He went, what about the money? I went, I don't want your money. I said, I'll take it off for those who got it. I don't need to take it off for you. So I come back to the pub. Frank was sitting there, my driver. He went, everything all right? I went, no, it ain't all right. I said, bring Kennedy around tomorrow, 7 o'clock in the morning. He went, oh, what, we're going to work? I went, yeah, I'm going to work. I said, just bring it. I went, one loaded up with salt, rock salt. I said, and the other one with a live one in it, you know, buckshot. He went, okay, come round. I walked into their lockup, and then allegedly, right? Allegedly, people say I walked in there and I shot the one under the car with the rock salt. He was screaming. Walked in, and allegedly I stuck the gun to his brother's head and went, if you ain't off the money in 24 hours, I'm going to blow your brains out. But they were gone anyway.